Heidi Roizen is a truly inspiring individual who, in the way she chose to build and leverage her network throughout her career. To begin, right out of college, she started as a newsletter editor, and with this role, she was able to work with everyone from the top to the bottom of the organization. This was a great opportunity to continue to network and to build her network, but she had a solid reason for taking advantage of this and chose to take advantage of it. It was a great opportunity. After her time as a newsletter editor, she worked at Teammaker as a leader. And with this role, there wasn't a lot of money for this organization to spend on ads and marketing, so she chose to leverage her press contacts and chose to give out demos of the software in place of, spending a large amount of money on advertisements. And with this, she chose to she invested a lot of time and energy into her network. And by investing all that time and energy into her network and by giving her undivided attention to every single reporter, she was able to build an incredible company, even though they didn't have a lot of capital. After her time at Teammaker, she worked for Apple. Now, at this point, she didn't have a lot of time and energy to give everyone her undivided attention, and instead she chose to focus on consistency and performance when working with her network contacts, rather than focusing on the frequency of interactions to make sure she was communicating with everyone. Now, in working with consistency and performance, she was choosing to spend short amounts of time and making a really positive impact, making sure that any connection she was making would be mutually beneficial. After her time at Apple, she chose to become a mentor capitalist. And with this, she was able to share her knowledge, expertise, and all the connections she'd built over the course of her career with new companies. Now, she only, again, made connections when they were mutually beneficial. She was always sure not to waste the time of executives of companies if it really wasn't going to be as beneficial to them as it could be to the new companies coming. After her time as a mentor capitalist, she realized working as a venture capitalist with actual capital backing would be a huge benefit, and so she began working for SoftBank. Now, she still chose to respond to all of her emails, and she chose to provide feedback like any good giver would. And with that, she had to maintain an otherish approach because she was getting far too many requests for any one person to handle. So even if there were requests from people she knew really well, she made sure that she was kind, firm, and honest when she had to reject a meeting request. And with this, it creates transparency and a continued trust of her abilities as well as her respect of that other individual. Now, at this point, she doesn't have the time and energy like she did at the beginning of her career to focus on, one-on-one time and developing deep relationships. She'd already spent the time earlier in her career to do that. So at this point, because she had so many different networks of people, she chose to spend her time focused on the center person of each of those networks. Similar to the way Paul Revere probably shared information that the British were coming, she could have easily handled an attack on Silicon Valley with her network knowledge. Now, 4 ways that I saw her using influence methods were liking, reciprocity, consistency, and authority. Liking, let's start there. If you take a genuine interest in people, they're going to like you because you're genuine and you're taking an interest in them. It makes it very easy to like someone who chooses to spend time and energy with you, the way she did toward the beginning of her career and probably all the way through. Reciprocity. She didn't waste people's time and she expected the same in return. So she was only going to be making those connections and working with people who were probably likely to respond, and those people were probably going to work with her because they knew she would respond. Now, consistency. She followed through with all of her requests. She'd email people back. If she said she was going to do something, she did it. That makes it really nice for people for consistency's purpose when you know somebody's going to get back to you and you know that they're going to commit and finish what they started. Authority. usually people like to defer to experts when they're looking at different ways that they influence others. And with this, she chose two drastically different methods. One was dinner parties, and the second was press interviews. So, dinner parties represent a really informal way to continue to share your expertise and knowledge with other people. It creates a great opportunity to link, of course, other people and expand your network, but it also creates a comfortable, inviting environment to really, share your knowledge. And in that way, when you walk into a business meeting, it makes it a whole lot simpler when everybody already knows the expertise around the table. Secondly, with press interviews. So, at the beginning of her career at Teamaker, she said she did a lot of press interviews. So with that, obviously people are going to hear them and they're going to have no choice but to listen. So she had the ability to share her knowledge to a wider range of people earlier on in her career. So likely everybody knew her expertise when she was walking in the door. I found this case study to be just incredibly inspiring. She's an incredibly successful person in her networking, and I've come away from this case study with many new ideas on how to continue building my own network for success.